the bottom line is we have an unconstitutional law on the books that needs to be rectified. And it's before us right now to rectify it. I know there's a separate standalone bill that Senator Limmer's carrying, I'm a co-author on. That's not getting a hearing, but here we are in the Department of Human Rights Act with this amendment before us that will rectify our unconstitutional law. So I think it's totally appropriate for us to be acting on this amendment right now. And this really isn't, from a legal standpoint, it's not even a close call. I mean, I never thought I would have to actually say this, but religious liberty is fundamental in our state and country. I think we all believe that. We all know that. It's essential for us to live peaceably with one another in a pluralistic society. Like I said, it's not only fundamental and essential, it's also the law of the land. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, and the free exercise of religion. And the U.S. Supreme Court has spoken very clearly on this. And it's held that courts generally stay out of matters involving employment decisions regarding those certain important positions with churches and other religious institutions. And the court calls this principle the ministerial exception. And I think we can all envision this with churches and their hiring decisions with pastors or ministers or teachers or anybody involved in a church organization has to ascribe to those views that the church holds. And Christian schools, Muslim schools, Jewish schools, educating young people in their faith, which was directly at issue in the Our Lady of Guadalupe school case, which held that educating young people in their faith is at the very core of a private religious school's mission and qualifies for the ministerial exception. So our law that we have on the books is unconstitutional. And it's not just the U.S. Constitution, it's also our Minnesota Constitution, which maybe not a lot of people know that one as well as our federal Constitution, but it says in part right in here, the right of every man to worship God according to the dictates of his own conscience shall never be infringed. It also says, nor shall any control of or interference with the rights of conscience be permitted. And the state Supreme Court case has ruled on this. In fact, in the state Supreme Court, our state Supreme Court said the language in our state constitution is distinctively stronger character than the federal counterpart. The state Bill of Rights expressly grants affirmative rights in the area of religious worship, while the corresponding federal provision simply attempts to restrain government action. So our state constitution is even stronger on this. Minnesotans, from our state Supreme Court, Minnesotans are afforded greater protection for religious liberties against government action under the state constitution than under the First Amendment of the federal constitution. So again, the amendments before us, if we're going to be serious legislators and do serious work here, this amendment must be passed to rectify an unconstitutional law on the books, to clarify this area. And it shouldn't be up to the courts to decide this so many months down the road after some church or religious school has gone through months of litigation, appeals, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney's fees. It shouldn't have to come to that. We all took an oath here to uphold the U.S. and Minnesota constitutions, and voting yes on this amendment is a fulfillment of that oath. Thanks.